We've hit the time of year again when faculty start to think about getting students to actually engage with the syllabus. And we've tried, funny Snoop Dogg videos, putting $50 in lockers. None of it seems to work. Here is a suggestion for something that actually does work, which is to create an activity where students are required to go through, interact with the syllabus, incentivized with a small grade where there are multiple points throughout where they have to demonstrate their understanding. This is something we did with a colleague, or a colleague and I did for a course we taught during the online semester, and it worked pretty well, and I think it might work well for you guys as well. So I'm going to show you what it actually looks like. This is in the editing mode, so it'll look a little bit different for students, but this is built out in Moodle, which is the LMS we use. A similar thing I'm sure can be done in Brightspace or Canvas or one of the other systems. This utilizes the Moodle lesson activity. And so it starts off with an introduction from my colleague, Dr. Van Royen, where she goes through who she is as a human being, how she got into geology, etc. Just a moment to humanize the instructor, to help break down those barriers and to engage the students right from the beginning. From there, we move into logistics. And so notice that there is, after each section, a series of multiple choice questions. And this is not what it looks like to the student. This is how it's actually built out here. So after the first section of multiple choice questions, we get kind of into the meat of the material here. So we utilize Teams for online video delivery. And so students actually had to go in and add themselves to the team. There's a link directly in here. There's an instructional video on how to do it. There's text for students who prefer to read text, etc. From there, we move on to the meat of the material, which is the syllabus. So you can see I've got a screen capture here showing where the syllabus actually lives on our LMS. I also created a short video just like this, just a screen captured video, going through all of the components of the syllabus, showing them where that key information is, reviewing it with them, and even more importantly, explaining why those elements of the syllabus exist. So after they go through and they have read through that material and they're prompted to read it here, it's in this video format as well down here. Then they have to answer a series of multiple choice questions about different aspects of what they have just been introduced to. So for example, email protocol. I mean, who do they email for a lab question? What should it look like? Who do they email for a lecture question? These little things that really cause a lot of concern throughout the semester, but are easy to deal with if we can actually introduce students to them right in the beginning. So they're going through and they're forced to demonstrate that they've actually understood it. So after all of this stuff, where we go through the kind of logistics, we go through a series of the things that we've built out on the actual Moodle page itself to add additional supports beyond the syllabus. So one of the things we did is we made an FAQ section. So that allowed us when we started getting emails about the course throughout the semester. If we got that same email, 2 or 3 times, we would just take the answer, we put it in the FAQ here, and that allowed students to be able to go and see, those questions, get an answer, potentially cutting off the need to ever actually email us at all, saving us time and also saving them time because they get an immediate response. So we built that out. We also took the online university supports. These are the kind of boilerplate things that you're supposed to put in the syllabus, instructional supports, etc. Well, our university made a series of videos, short videos about these, and I just embedded these directly in here. So they are in the syllabus as well, and you can access them directly here, but they're also here in video format, and you can go on through. We built a discussion forum which allowed students to be able to go, and if they had questions about maybe things they had seen in the syllabus or could not find in the syllabus, they could ask them directly in the discussion forum, as well as, of course, checking that FAQ section as well. So all of this stuff was built out through here. The final thing we did, which was quite helpful, was to create a essay style question where we forced all of the students to go through and just verbalize what their goals for the course were. So, what program are they in? What challenges did they foresee? And what grade are they hoping to get, et cetera? What actually is their goal for the course? And this allowed us both to get information that we could use then to monitor how well they were doing, add prompts if we saw them getting away, modify the course in little ways that were more meaningful, but it also forced them to articulate to themselves what their goals were, which helps, guide them forwards from the very beginning. Anyways, this worked really well. It's something you might want to do. It's really easy to do in the Moodle format. The other thing about this is because each one of these components can be modified, this entire structure can then be exported and imported for another course or another year. And you can just go through and you can just change the small elements of the course that actually change each year. but you can export this whole thing and import the whole thing into another course shell very easily. So once made, you don't have to remake it for every single course. You can just modify it. So here's quickly what it would look like from a student perspective. So here is the video, and you can start playing this here. You can add closed captioning, etc. And from there, at each step, the student is prompted. We put this little progress bar, that's optional. And you can jump on in, and then you get to these multiple choice questions where you get to answer questions about in this case, the video they had watched. And there's a series of these moving along, etc. So that's what it looks like from the student's perspective. It's a little bit more usable, obviously, than it looked like from the faculty editing perspective. So give this a try. I think it'll work for you. It worked for us, and it really is a solution to the question of how do you get them to do it. The answer is attach a grade to it and force them to go through all of the steps and to look at the things you want them to see, and then to demonstrate that they've seen it. Simple, simple.